In fact, one man, he comes to my meetings in England. Every week he comes. He's quite a busy guy. He's an actor. He has to travel up to London a lot at weekends. And then one weekend, he had a free weekend. So he said, I'm going to use this weekend to be in stillness with myself. I'm going to use this weekend. I say, okay, it's very good. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. He said, all I'm going to do all weekend is walk on the promenade on the seafront where I live, Eastbourne, and just stop every 15 minutes, just sit on a bench, and I would take a flask and have a cup of tea, and then just walk again. I'm going to do this all weekend. Switch off my phone, switch off my Facebook, switch everything off, just have a weekend in stillness. Okay, I said, all right, I'm really going to hear about this when I see you. Every Wednesday I have a meeting in my home. So this is the Wednesday before. Then the Wednesday after the weekend of his weekend in stillness, he comes to me, and he came a bit early to my house this week. I said, hey, how was your weekend in stillness? He said, terrible. He said, it was just terrible. Said, every time I sat down, my mind said I should be walking. Every time I was walking, my mind said I should be sitting down. Every time I was drinking a cup of tea, my mind said you should be drinking coffee. I said, I couldn't do anything right. I said, this is the mind. This is the mind. The mind is a constant resistance to what is. It's a constant resistance to what is. So we have to see that in us. We have to. I said to him, you know, but I've been telling you for a long time not to believe your mind. He said, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because the mind is not going to cooperate for a weekend in stillness. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to have a weekend in stillness, and the mind is going to say, not if I've got anything to do with it. Not a chance. So you must be able to find the stillness regardless of what the mind is doing. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can only do that if you're not identified with your mind. You can only do that if you're not identified with your mind. Sometimes I ask the people the question. I say, if there is no identification with mind, who are you? Just let that drop. If there is no identification with mind, who are you? Just, okay. Something is here. Something is present. I ask you, the reason I asked you what brought you to this, because I feel you must have a very strong calling to have come to this place in yourself. But the more we kind of come into it, the more we begin to see that we need grace. We need grace because of our own efforts and of our own volition and of our own power. We are limited. We are limited. The very fact that we can even listen to and understand and integrate the difference between the false I and the true self, this already is grace. This already is grace. Because if I went onto the street and said to someone, you are not who you think you are. You are not. If I just went to a random person in the shop, say, excuse me, can I have a word? You're not who you think you are. They're probably either going to hit me or run away from me. So this we cannot just put this out openly. We cannot, because most people are not open enough for it. So there must already be some openness in you to even be able to hear this, to even be able to just take the words energetically inside yourself. When I was with Muji a long time, and there came some points where I was just tired of it. I was just tired of it. But something in me always felt, no, be there, stay there until this is clear for you. And now I feel so happy that I did that. I feel so happy that I did that. Yeah. You know, and there is enough wisdom in you and enough understanding in you, you know that you cannot go back. You cannot go back. You could try it, but you're not the person who left that old life. You have changed. You have some much more space in you. And if you went back there, you would just not feel right energetically. So something has pulled you. Something has taken you. And now you just say, okay, I'm on board. I am here for this. And I am fully with it. You say one time, a man asked Ramana Maharshi in the ashram, and Ramana, I have been inquiring for 20 years. 20 years I've been inquiring, and I haven't got anywhere. And the master, he said, go and do it for 20 years more then. Go and do it for 20 years more. Because it's like this is the truth. And if you're called into that, if it's your time to come into that, then something must just, okay, just stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with yourself. Yes. And at the same time, don't neglect your freedom to live your life. You know, you should live as you feel. It should not be a restriction on you. No. I say that for everybody because sometimes people feel, oh, I've seen Paul and he's just, he's just always sitting there. And I have to be like that. But maybe that is not your expression. So then you should be as you are. Yeah.